Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make an older shape from my channel called the 9-cube lattice. To make it, what you're going to need are 7 of these subunits here, plus enough materials to make an 8th one, but you don't want to pre-make the last one. You'll note that this is a cube with some support structures and then 3 extra edges on one corner. So to make this, the first thing that you need is one of these here. Now, credit where credit is due, I didn't come up with this shape. The discovery for this was by Jimmo5842 on Flickr. I'll post a link to his photo stream down in the description so you can go check some of his stuff out. He's actually got some really great shapes, worth taking a look. So you need one of these. The way that you make it is by first making a ball of 24 magnets. You get a ring of 24, flatten it out like this, and join it at the top so that it makes a ring. You grab it on opposite sides with one hand, and then at 90 degrees with the other hand, and then pull. Like that, and then you push a little, and you end up with this little ball of 24 magnets. Then what you need is a set of 16 rings of 6, which you should cut up into double stacks. You'll notice that there are 8 triangles across the surface of this thing. That's really what it's made up of. Each one of these goes down so that it sits on top of one of the triangles like that. Go ahead and cover all 8 triangles with these. And you end up with this. Now, what I see the Flickr user, Jimmo5842, often will do is cut off these extra hexagons, leaving it like that. But for the purposes of this shape, I'm going to leave them on and pinch them down into triangles like that. The points of the triangles, each pointing to a neighbor like that. Do all of the triangles across the whole shape. There should be 8 of them. And that's how you end up with one of these. I should note that in addition to the 8 that you'll need to make these cubes, you also need 2 extra, which will come in during the final assembly of the shape. Once you have one of these, you also will need some stacked rings of 6. I believe this is 44 stacked rings. And you're also going to need some stacked rings of 9. And this is enough to make 27 edge pieces. So I guess that is 54 stacked rings. Go ahead and cut the stacked rings of 9 up into double stacks for now. Now once you have all 27 of these, each one gets flattened out into a straight piece like this. And then along with 2 others, gets joined into a cubic corner. You're going to make 9 of those. Okay, once you've made all 9 of these, you want to bring these rings of 6 back into the picture, and you want to make 1 double stack and then cut the rest of them up into stacks of 6. Okay, so now that you have all of these other elements cut up, take one of these ultimate joints and attach one of these tubes of 6 down on the triangle like that. Now this is going to be one of these spokes that hold the cube frame, but this is, I don't know if you can tell, it's much too long. So to get this to the right length, you go from this triangle, you go up 2 layers to this one, pinch that one down into a triangle as well. go up 2 more layers, pinch that one down into a triangle. So you have triangle, triangle, triangle. Now you kind of push down on this, and kind of sawing it side to side a little bit helps. And you can see that splits away and comes down like that. And that shortens this by quite a bit. Finally, on this top one, you want to pitch this down into a triangle as well. But you want the direction of this triangle to be opposite to what these other ones have been. So with these ones where the points are kind of pointing to their neighbors, this one, the point is pointing into the center face. Once you have one of these goes right down on top. Just like that. Do the same thing to 3 more triangles to make a square. And now you've completed about half of the subunit here. Next, you want to do a special corner, which will be the corner with this extra 3 edges coming out of it. To do that, you take your double stack and one of these and place this down inside so that, notice that it sits on top. It's stacked or coupled. It's not meshed or interlinked. Now, on this one, pinch that down into a triangle. Take another one of these, and it should sit down on top just like that. Now, this is almost exactly the same length as that strut plus the edge. So all you need to do is attach right there, and this will sit right there, just like that. So now these other 3 edges are just like the 4 that you already did. As you get close to completing the last one, you may need to do the thing where you pull a magnet off the point and place it on the other one to prevent you from having to fidget with them to get them to attach. And there you go. That's how you make one of these subunits. Again, you need 7 of them plus enough materials to make an 8th one. And then in addition, you need 2 extra of these ultimate joints. So now to begin assembling this shape, you take 2 of these subunits and attach them together using these extra 3 edges. It's difficult to reach in and grab these once the cubes start getting very close to each other. So what I find the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and just take a magnet off of that edge and place it onto this edge. That way, when they come together, I'm sure I can see this with the camera. When they come together, they just go together like that. Do that with 2 more of them. And now that you have 2 pairs, do the same thing with these pairs and join them together. Okay, now that you're at this point, you want to take an extra one of these ultimate joints, and it should go right down here in the middle. It should connect to each of the corners without too much difficulty. In fact, it's a pretty strong connection. So this is where it starts to get kind of tricky. You need a bit of scaffolding to get it completed. So what I have found works pretty well are bits of cardstock like this. I got notes for shapes and stuff, and also a shopping list there. And what you want is for all of this paper to be about wide enough that it just barely will fit in between two of these cube subunits. And you want two of them. Here's a kind of just a ring binder. And what these are going to do is when you put more of these on, these will sit here and here to help hold them up until the shape is completed the rest of the way. So go ahead and add two more of these on. At this point, it's kind of best to do them just one at a time. And now we're down to the last cube, which I've found that the easiest way to do this one, rather than have a subunit and try and fit it in there, is to just assemble the thing in place. So go ahead and take your extra subunits here and assemble the extra cube corners and stacks of 6 that I showed from earlier. So the way I like to go about doing this is to first add on the double corner with 2 sets of edges on it. So go ahead and add that down there, pitch it down into a triangle, and add this down just like you did before. And now you're going to add this down in there. You'll need to remove those magnets, add it onto that edge before you do that, or else there's going to be no real, plausible way to get those edges attached. One thing that I think makes this a little easier is if for this one only, if you take these triangles off of the that joint and add them onto here, then you can pinch with the triangles and do all of this part. I think I messed that one up a little bit. Okay, so what I was trying to show is that if you just add an extra hexagon onto these, you can make this whole thing without having to fiddle with it while it's already on the shape, because this is not very strong and you don't want it to fall over. And there you go. I had said you needed an extra one of these, but I was wrong about that. The first time I built this, I added one on top here and then chopped the top half of it off as kind of a way to retain these and keep them from falling over, but it looks like you don't need them actually. So I think it looks nicer without them, to be honest. You could probably do more cubes than this, but this is already about 7,500 magnets, and to go out to a 3 by 3 by 3 lattice would be, I'm not sure I have that many magnets. Be interesting to try sometime though. Anyway, this is not one that you can pick up off the table, unfortunately, so I guess I'm gonna smash it.